Welcome back, Rankers. Well, a big week this week for especially everybody in Queensland, in case you're from overseas and haven't heard the news. Queensland is a northern state in Australia, this one here, and 75% of it has been declared a disaster area because of flooding. And to give you an idea, if you're in America and you've got no idea what that size means, Jen Sparks quickly hacked together a photograph or an image to give you an idea with an overlay. So, that's the area affected, and that amount is flooded. So hopefully that puts it into perspective for our American viewers. But it's massive, and you can see here from the search volume that's happened just in the last 7 days. It's just gone through the roof. To Google's credit, they've actually, if you put in flood QLD and a few other searches around flood, you will find automatically that flood information will always appear at the top of the search. I'm presuming that's purely for if your IP address shows that you're coming from Australia. But kudos to Google for doing that. There's a lot of resources out there, but there was a lot of noise on Twitter about a lot of the official websites being down, and then there's been some rumours about email scams going out, talking about dodgy sites that have been set up and trying to collect donations. I don't know if any of that's true, because quite frankly I can't be bothered researching it. But a quick check of the official site today for Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland. Just did a quick dig on that this morning, and seeing some interesting things happening with its load balancing, if you like, with a number of different subdomains that have been used in this IP address. When I take that IP address and stick it into, say, GeoBytes or another IP address locator, it's saying here that it's coming out of Japan. Although there might be something wrong with GeoBytes because it's showing an Australian flag. That might be purely because it's a .au. But so then I went across to Netcraft, which is another site that monitors other sites. And just to get an idea of the history of that particular brisbane.qld.gov.au, and you can see they had to actually put in a new server on the 28th of December by the looks of it. And they went with a thing called, and the flood started before Christmas. And they went with a thing called Citrix NetScaler, and I found out a little bit about that, and that's for large-scale websites or sites that need a lot of load balancing if they're very, very busy. And you can see that the IP address is different even since the 3rd of January, that what we're picking up now in Melbourne. So if you are in Brisbane and or you're looking for relatives in Brisbane, you need to find out and go and have a look at the site. If you don't need to go to the site, don't go to the site, because it's under a really, really heavy load. There are plenty of other sites you can go to find out about what's happening with the floods. sbs.com.au has a great Queensland flood map. If you're actually in a flood-affected area and you want to tell other people about what's going on in that area, the ABC have set up a flood crisis map called queenslandfloods.crowdmap.com, and you can go to that and add what's happening in your area, and you will see there that a lot of people are already doing that and putting reports up about the flooding in their area so other people can find out. Great initiative by the ABC. Someone else has set up basically a mirror of flood maps for Brisbane. This is at lexifanic.com/flood maps. And you can go and find a listing of flood maps there if you can't get onto the Brisbane City Council website, and you need to. And so that there's a lot of other resources out there that you can look for. If you want to donate to the appeal, the flood relief appeal, it's at www.qld.gov.au/floods/donate.html. And you can donate there. If, however, you prefer to donate to something a little bit more furry, then the RSPCA is also, in Queensland, is also after donations because, as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of animals stranded, and certainly even one RSPCA outlet in Fairfield was underwater, and people were going there in their droves to help get the animals out. But Certainly the RSPCA in Queensland is after donations, and that's donate.rspcaqld.org.au/flood, and you can donate to them. And speaking of animals and floods, this is one of the most extraordinary photographs I've ever seen. I know one of the iconic photographs in the Victorian bushfires a couple of years ago was the koala taking a drink from the fireman's flask, but this is pretty incredible. This is a snake swimming through water, and a frog has hitched a ride on its back. So that gives you hope. Amazing stuff. And just on the whole scam thing, what I tend to do when a big event like this happens is go and have a look and see what domain names are being registered. So, for instance, we can go and have a look at queenslandfloods.com.au. Oops. Helps if I put who is at the start of that. No one's registered that because I put Queens Floods. If I was to put, because that's a whole other thing that you don't want to know about, if I was to put in Queensland Floods, someone's already registered that on the 11th of January, and that was a Kevin Plant, presumably. Oh, sorry, Kevin Plant. Then we'll go. I'm not saying any of these people are doing scams or anything. I'm just saying it can happen that you will see. And by the way, the hashtag on Twitter, if you want to follow this on Twitter, which is where I've been getting all my news, I haven't been going to the major media outlets, is QLD Floods is the hashtag on Twitter. If I type that in, QLD Floods, who is, and I do a .com, someone's registered that. They put their name against it. No, they have not. The .aus, though, they actually have to put their names against. And that's a Tim Miller who's registered that one. So I don't know what any of these sites might be. These may be getting registered to set up resource sites for people, or they may be people just jumping on these domain names so the scammers out there can't get them. But you know, if you are donating online, the official relief appeal site is actually I'll bring it back. We'll get there eventually. Donate. It's that one, which is the Queensland Government official relief page. Speaking of scams, do you employ an SEO company to do work for you? I know many of you do. And because you can't be bothered doing it yourself, which I can't be bothered servicing my car either, so I could get someone else to do it. However, what are they doing? How are they getting backlinks? Because as I've talked about comment spam before, and for a brief, quick update for people who don't know what comment spam is, basically it's when people go to a blog and leave a comment with a backlink, and they do it purely to get a backlink to their site. They're not contributing to the conversation, and we get a lot of it right over the years because our site's quite old, and yes, we are having a new site launch soon, but the site's quite old, and it's got a lot of content, and especially it's got a lot of internet marketing content. So what tends to happen is people will come to the site and they'll leave a comment like this Malali person did. However, this person's name is actually internet marketing, because what most comment systems do on blogs is that they will automatically link the person's name back to their homepage if they've put the homepage in. So what a lot of these comment spammers do is that they just say that their name is internet marketing. Of course, none of these are published, and that's why we moderate comments. We don't allow auto approval of comments on our blogs, nor do we use captures, because we moderate everything. Captures are those sites where you have to actually put in letters and numbers based on a graphic that's all muddled in front of you, and that's so bots can't go and automatically add comments. But as you can see here, people are doing it here, not bots. And yeah, all these here, anything that's got a red cross against it, that's comment spam. So in another section of the site though, and this is what really annoys me, This is a local SEO company, a Melbourne SEO company, and we've had a few Australian SEO companies comment spam our blog. And this is another one. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I just don't want to give them any publicity whatsoever. But, you know, you look up the IP address that the comments come from. It's come from India. So what this particular Melbourne company is doing is employing cheap labour rather than a bot to go out and comment spam the world. The person's name is Mr. SEO Australia. And I actually really question the legitimacy of that key phrase. And that's the other thing that you're doing here. If you've got an SEO company that's going out doing comment spamming and they're using the keywords, well, a couple of things. What is that doing to your brand? And you're telling whoever you're comment spamming what your main key phrase is that you're targeting. And I would say SEO Australia isn't a particularly good one. But, you know, when you have a read of the comment itself, if you know how important are the keywords you use at your site, how big an impact can they have on the success or failure of your site, you will understand the priority of keywords. Also, some webmasters think if we have the best and most impressive content, least bother about keywords! Exclamation point. If this is how you think about, chances are that folks will not be able to find your website content and therefore it will be useless. And in fact, chances are high that the site will fail altogether. Well, thank you for that advice. So you can see this particular company hasn't even paid top rupee for the best writers. And trust me, they're not expensive to get good quality writers. So if you're using an SEO company that's promising lots of different backlinks at really cheap prices and all that sort of thing, you may just want to investigate that a little bit more deeply. But for my part, what I tend to do is publicly name and shame. If it's another SEO company, I don't. I usually just tweet out at them and say, please stop comment spamming my blog. That's probably naming and shaming. But the thing is, you don't want to give these comment spammers too much air. But if you are employing an SEO company, or if you're doing it yourself, resist the temptation to do this sort of thing, because it's really uncool and it's really rude, and it's you know, this is my bloody site. Go and get your own. Go and build your own sites. Get your own backlinks, and don't just comment spam on someone else's. I've got no problem with someone participating or contributing to a conversation and getting a backlink from that. I'll do that every day, all the time. And I've done it with several SEO companies on our own blog who have commented, sure, get a backlink, you're contributing. But when you come in and do stuff like that, really? Bad form. That's it for today's show. Try to stay safe, everybody in Queensland, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.